Okay, well, welcome to CTE Questions and Answers, and I hope this video will help you out in some of the questions that you have provided to me. Um, my name is Howard Berger, and it's Blitzface, and basically I'm working with CTE as a aiming system, as you know, and I have maybe 20 odd videos out there. So I just wanted to give a video to explore some of the questions that you guys have asked me about. Uh, my style is a little bit different than what you see on online, maybe from Stan and a few other guys. Uh, there is a difference between my style and what I call traditional CTE. So I'll explain it to you a little bit, and then you could get an understanding of it. Hopefully, it'll give you some insight on this thing. If you're not familiar with CTE or the things in ball I have in front of me with A, B, and C, go back and look at some of the videos that I made prior. There must be about 20 or 25 videos out there. Um, so let's get started with this. ABC is aim lines, as you probably know. Aim lines is the direction of the angle to the pocket on the object ball. So this is a big object ball, so to speak. And ABC represents 15 and 30 and 45-degree angles. And if you're looking at a shot, let's say this is actually aiming towards the side pocket. It could be an A, a B, or a C, depending on where the cue ball is. But basically, it's a B shot. It's almost like almost like a ghost ball kind of a scenario, although you are pivoting in a way, and it's a little different. But we'll explain that as we go along. Um, the ABC is again 15 degrees. Third B is the 30. 45 degrees is the C. The ABC doesn't change. It always remains as ABC to you. The degrees may change. So in other words, you could have an A that's 15 degrees, and the next shot it could be 45 degrees. There is two little dots on the left and right sides, which represents a 1/8, which is very deep cuts. In fact, most of the cuts that you see on an average game is probably an A and B. So 15 and 30 degrees is pretty much the norm. Once in a while you get a little stronger cut, like a 45-degree angle. But 60 degrees and up, or even 75 degrees and up, doesn't come that often. But if you need to do it, it's there. ABC is again, this represents my style of how you look at the ball. If this ball was going into the side, and I'll show you the difference between my concept and the traditional version of CTE. In CTE, the ABC faces the cue ball, so it's a little bit different in terms of how it's laid out. The Either way, your position is key on this thing. So you must be behind the cue ball, and basically your left leg is behind the cue ball. You're pivoting from the backhand only, not from the right hand. And as I see as you look at this thing, you can see the ABCs are direction of the pocket, and depending on where the cue ball is, it's still going to be direction to the pocket in my style. In the traditional style, it's a little different. I tend to pivot, and pivoting is a kind of a strange thing. Pivots from left and right make a difference. Sometimes you could pivot from left to right. Some people don't even pivot at all. They just go right into the shot and shoot. I like to use a little pivot, especially when I kind of teach people how to shoot. But in any case, it's again a way of just doing it as best I can in terms of laying out the shots. Now, when you have a shot, I usually pivot from the opposite side of the cut. And basically what I'm doing now is showing you if it was a cut from, let's say, the left side or right side, that's the opposite side. So I'll be aiming from the, let's say, from the C angle and moving it over, and it's just my style. I mean, it doesn't have to be your style, but I think it's something that I just and that's the way I shoot, and it's probably an easier way of moving into the shot. Don't forget, when you're aiming it for these aim lines, you're a half a tip offset. In other words, a half a tip from center cue ball, aiming at one of these lines. Once you establish the angle to the pocket, let's say it's an A, and you're aiming at the A with the Q-tip at a half a tip offset, you just move to center cue ball and you shoot. So here's a typical ball. It's a 13 ball, and it's going into the side pocket. There's going to be a lot of side pocket shots because I really wanted to just emphasize some of the questions that you guys have been asking. So in other words, this 13 ball, and I'm looking at it again from the A, B, and C side. So A would be on the left side of the stripe, B in the middle, C is on the right side of the stripe. I'm coming in from the right side of the cue ball at the half tip offset, aiming at, in this case, a B. So it would be a 30-degree shot. And again, it's so close that you could probably use A as well. C might be a little too steep. So I'm coming in, I kind of come in from the right side, and I'm pivoting over. Now you could do it like from the left side to right side. I like the right side. It's opposite the cut. So I'm coming in, and you can see me move the stick a little bit, aiming at it and then pivoting over. And again, it's still a basic shot. You know, you maybe you don't even need CTE on this thing, but it's nice to have. So you just pivot over, and you pocket the ball. 12 ball again. This is, like I said, this is such an easy shot. You wouldn't have to really need any aiming system almost. But in any case, I'm coming in, aiming at the B, and this is just to show you how it works. So I'm coming in now. It's a little bit different, so the angle is different. So I'm coming in from the left side, pivoting over from the left side at a half a tip offset, pivoting over to the B, which is right in the middle of the stripe. And then I'm going to pivot over to center cue ball, and then I'm going to shoot. So you're kind of aiming, right now I'm aiming from the half tip offset to the B, bringing it over to center. And there you go. Now, I'm just showing this shot because this is how traditional works. Now the stripe is facing the cue ball, not the pocket. So you have A, B, and C facing the cue ball. So in other words, this could be a little bit different. You may even look at it as a C cut. So it's, again, a little bit different. In this particular way of shooting, your cue ball, half your cue ball, right in the middle, is kind of a visual to the right side of the object ball. It gives you the position to get into play. Some people don't use pivots on this stuff. Once you get into that visual, it's almost like, you know, like your eyes just know where to go. It's like you're already set up. Make sure your left leg is behind the cue ball, but you're actually aiming, or you're visually aiming, half the cue ball to the right side of the object ball, and then pivoting over. Always pivot from the backhand, not the front hand. So here you have a situation where the ball is kind of blocked. I mean, you're really kind of stuck. I mean, there's not much you could do here. The left side pocket is a little tight. Right side again is a little tough. So a corner is the spot to go. So this looks like a nice deep cut. I would probably think this is at least a 1/8 cut. Could even be a 40, what we call an A shot, but it's almost 45 degrees or more. So you have to line up the same way, pivoting over and move. Oops, I overcut. And I'll get back to that shot because it's something that I do all the time. But when you're looking at a shot like that, you kind of have to guesstimate the angle to the pocket. And if you're off on the angle to the pocket, then your whole shot's going to be off. So it's good to know how you perceive the angle to the pocket. In a straight shot like this, it's usually going to be a B. So you're shooting just for the B and then straight up, because it's a straight shot. One ball, same story. I believe this is kind of like going off on the traditional side. So I'm kind of like aiming the half a cue ball to the right side of the one. Kind of gives me the position. I could just move right into the shot. When you're doing that visual, it kind of gives you just the position just to move in. And once you do this and keep on doing it, it'll be much more easier in terms of the shooting. Yeah, a little sloppy, but it did go in. it's again whether or not traditional is better than my style. It's a little bit of both. I use both, so it's sometimes traditional is good. You just got to go pick up the idea of how it works. But either way, it's still a good concept. Um, Now the both balls are blocking the corners, so you're really stuck. It's either side pocket or no pocket. So let's go to the side pocket. Nice 1/8 shot, right in. Now I'm not aiming at these balls. Basically, I'm aiming in a way, but I'm not really doing a ghost ball aim type thing. I'm aiming it, and I'm looking at the balls. There's another 8 ball. We're playing 8 ball, so you can't do it in the side. It's just 6 balls right in your way. So you really have to hit it in the corner. And typically, again, you have to look at what would be the angle to the pocket on this thing. And it looks like a 1/8 cut. It's kind of a deep cut, probably even about 70 or 80% in terms of the cut. That's 80 degrees of angle, sorry. This is a way of shooting from the right side of the cue ball, coming in from the right side. I'm aiming at that 1/8. I just picked up the camera a little bit so you can see the shot. And I'm going to aim at the 1/8 from the right side and then pivoting over. And it goes right in. Same shot, a little bit of a different angle. Instead of a 1/8, this is probably going to be an A. So if you look at it at that side, it's kind of an A cut. So I'm aiming for the A now. And even though it's an A, it's still 45 degrees. So it's like I said, A could be interchangeable. Would it be? Sometimes it's 15, sometimes it's 45, and vice versa. So here we are, same story. I'm coming in from the right side, opposite the cut. I'm moving in to the right side of the cue ball. Not the basically I'm coming in at the half a tip offset on the right side of the cue ball, not on the edge. So it's I'm half a tip offset, pivoting over, and boom. Kind of a basic shot. This could be a B. I'm looking at it as a B. You see, it's almost like a ghost ball kind of technique. But the difference is that you're really not kind of aiming at that specific point. You're kind of like aiming it in a way, but you're pivoting over, so it gives you that a little bit better, maybe a better flow with the cue ball, and that you're hitting it in the right point. Some people take the stick and aim at the object ball, then come back, and hopefully they could remember where they pointed the stick at. In this case, it's just kind of almost already done for you. Here's a 3 ball going into the side, and it looks like a deep cut. So I would guesstimate this being an A cut, perhaps even a 1/8. And this is where you have to make a determination. If you think it's very deep, you try it. Then you get familiarized with the type of cuts and angles that you need to pretty much determine which aim line you're going to shoot at. And shots like this, I would pretty much believe it looks like an A, and I would probably aim for the A on this one. So here we have a situation where we're looking at the object ball, same scenario, and I'm pointing it as a B. Looks like a B shot. Hopefully it'll go right into the side pocket shot, and I'm aiming it from the right side of that offset. In other words, I'm coming in from the right side. I slowed the camera a little bit so you can really get an understanding of this concept. If it was traditional, it would be half the cue ball to the right side of the edge of the object ball, and then pivoting over. In my style, I'm basically doing almost the same thing in a way, but I'm not looking at the visual. I'm coming in and just guesstimating what angle to shoot at, and since it's kind of a straight shot, it looks like a B. So I'm coming in at a half tip offset from the right side, and going from that side. Now, like I said, in setting up the shot, make sure your left leg is behind the cue ball. You're in position. You bring your stick down. Only from the backhand you're gonna be switching up, but you're coming in at a half a tip offset, aiming at that B aim line. And once you get that B aim line, you just shoot accordingly, and it should be not a problem at all. Of course, in any of these shots, you could use English, left, right. Of course, you could follow up or draw the ball back. Not a problem. Now you could use, I use ghost ball, of course, all the time. But on some shots, I like to use CTE, especially if it's a critical shot. So if you're playing an 8-ball, 9-ball game, you really want to make sure that ball goes in. And I just trust CTE a little bit more better than standard ghost ball. And that's pretty much my take. I mean, once you get used to it, you'll probably adapt it more and more as you get working with it more and more. So I'm just lining up now, and it's kind of like, again, I'm just lining up the half tip. Once I move over to center, I could just then shoot it right in. There you go. In slow motion. So coming back to the 8-ball that I missed prior, this is a shot that I typically do all the time. So I just want to get a understanding of where they're at, maybe just tweak my aim line a little bit better. I still think it's probably a 1/8 shot, and it's a deep cut in any case. So you kind of like, work the shot a little bit, so get a little bit more handle on where you have to be at. So I'm still coming in from the right side, going to half a tip offset right to the 1/8 marker. And nice and easy. And right in. Anyway, appreciate your coming to watch the video. Please subscribe if you didn't. And if you're looking for lessons, give me a holler. Again, it's Howard Blitzface. See you later.